I think we have like two similar stories in a way of how we got started, but the way that I did it was more like I more had an ego to it. So I was like, oh, I can't work for someone else, which I think even for like anybody watching, I honestly, I don't think, well, we're going to get into that, but I don't think that is the right mindset at all. I think when you're starting out, you have to accept the fact that you suck.
100%.
And like, if you try to start your own thing with your own money, which we're going to get into, like, you're probably going to lose money. Like, you were trying to do day trading, right?
Yeah.
Lost thousands of dollars. For me, I was, again, I actually, for those of you that don't know, I don't even know if you know the story, but Easy A actually started because my original agency was Pawliw Media, which was my last, no one's going to pronounce that. And so but I wanted to test running Facebook ads before I actually did them. And so I was like, okay, well, I found this thing called affiliate marketing. So I got into ClickBank, right? And I was like, and for those who don't know what ClickBank is, you basically just go and you find a product and it's, I was selling like cacao powder or something like that. I swear to God, like I was trying to get my
Mm.
parents to buy it. Anyway, so I took that product and I started running my own ads. Reason why I mentioned Easy A is I started a new page in a new business called Easy Affiliate. That's where Easy A actually came from,
Okay, I
which is
didn't know
funny.
that.
I know it's crazy. Your partner. But the craziest part is, so I did that for, I don't know, I think I did that for a couple of weeks and I was spending like 20, 30 bucks a day of my own money. And I realized really quickly, because I wasn't getting sales, I had no idea what I was doing. I was making some
Mm.
ads. I was launching it inside of Facebook and I was just trying to see if I could get purchases. And obviously I didn't get any. I think I was marketing in like top five. I was like, most of my spend was going to like South Africa. I was like, I don't know who would buy this in South Africa. I don't know what I was doing. Anyways, that emphasizing the point that you suck. I then pivoted to just kind of helping my dad's business.
Yeah.
And so I was okay, well, I don't want to spend my money anymore. I'm going to go try to spend my dad's money, which sounds like daddy's money, but my dad has an interactive games business, you
Yeah.
know this. And it was COVID. And so he was trying to sell, as crazy as this sounds, like hand sanitizing machines, because it was this new product that he
Mm.
found. And he's like, oh, this will be great. We can put this in malls and restaurants, all these different places. And that's actually what I started advertising. And
Okay.
what was really cool is I didn't know this is what was happening, but again, it was a job. Like, I felt like I was being entrepreneurial because it was like, oh, my dad hired my company, but I was going to I still worked in my dad's business. So like I still worked there every day. I was getting paid 15 bucks an hour Canadian, which is like nothing. And it's like $10 US. So I was basically going there and I was working on ads. We actually went, this is crazy. I don't think you know this. I would go and like set up and like we would do photo shoots in restaurants and in gyms and stuff like that for all of the different places for
Yeah.
where we could sell this sanitizing machine. And I also then built a whole funnel. So like I built a funnel on WordPress on like Elementor, and I like had a step-by-step process for people to like submit and try to buy it. I overcomplicated the hell out of it, but the craziest thing is it worked. And I actually
Yeah.
sold like, it's crazy, it sounds like four or five of them, but they were like 2,500 bucks a pop.
Yeah.
But my point is with this rant is like I kind of got going through, again, working a job. Like I was acquiring these skills I didn't know. And then sure enough, at that point I started to, I wasn't making money. I was basically just like working in my dad's company, making the same money that I was making before I had the business, but I learned these skills. And then now that I had these skills, I was able to kind of be more confident just in myself. Cause like that was my biggest thing is I didn't want to go and do cold outreach to someone and be like, hey, I can run ads for you.
Mm.
And I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I just figured, okay, well, I did that for about 5 or 6 months. And then in 2021 was when I started reaching out to people in ecom, got a client. Now, I don't think that's as easy as it is nowadays. I'll say that full front. Like going out and reaching out to brands nowadays is a little bit harder, but I was just offering performance only. I didn't say like,
Yeah.
hey, I have no idea what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I was saying, hey, I'll do your ads for free. Just pay me. I think it was 20% of ad spend is what I charged because obviously they're a little bit smaller. The brand was spending like 4,000 a month, but
Yeah.
to me, I was like, holy cow, 4,000. I was like $100 a day. That's insane.
Yeah.
And I actually we crushed it for that first client.
Mm.
And I think something as well that I mean I did mention. I'll wrap up my story here is that I actually still I've always had like I was always scared to like screw things up for people, and I still didn't think I was that good. And the truth is I wasn't that good. I still wasn't. But what I did was I hired someone from a community that I was in, Emon's community, who had ran Facebook ads, and he was running Facebook ads for all these big brands. And so I hired him, and then I just did kind of, I think Emon calls it like drop servicing, which
Yeah.
is you find the client, you sell them on it, and you just get someone else who knows how to do the service to do it for you.
Yeah.
But rather than just being, a real business owner, I was still learning from the guy that was running the ads. Shout out to Zen. I don't know if you would ever watch this, but basically what happened was he was doing the ads. I was watching him, and then all of those skills that I learned, and then the skills that I started learning from him because I could learn through him, I started realizing like what he's doing is not that hard. And then it was a couple months later that I actually ended up meeting Shaun, which we don't need to get into. But my point is that was about 6 to 8 months of me just, even longer, of me just like working a job basically. Like I obviously I got my first client, about 6 months into my journey, and in my head I was telling myself that I had my own business, but in reality I was working a job. Like I was working for my dad, and then as soon as I got that client, I still was working a job. And most people don't realize that you're working a job until you actually have a team. And we didn't really have a team until like 2023 anyway, you know what I'm saying? So you're working a job no matter what. But I think it is like what we both have in common is we both just acquired skills.